Unfortunately, Turbo 34 in Focus podcast got into technical difficulties that I've experienced earlier. Before the supposed podcast episode to be aired, I do apologize for the major technical difficulties that I've experienced. Rest assured that the broadcast will be normal as possible. Please be advised that this podcast is still into early stages of streaming development as more tricks will be introduced in order to reduce the difficulties that we're experiencing. Your kind understanding is highly appreciated. Thank you very much. Good evening or good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, my dear friends, and this is your dear boss speaking. And recently, I have decided to do some sort of haircut into this style since you know what, it tends for me to get uncomfortable to have some sort of long hairstyles, bangs, and more of those uncomfortable or hair related uncomfortable experience. But let's set aside this one. In this episode, media experience that I have to share it with you, and the bonus topics that I'll going to discuss before this podcast ends. And so, this is your one and only dear boss speaking from Dasmania City. Basically, safety and security, engineering tips, self-help of any sort, and also health tips and other stuff will be discussed on Turbo 34 in Focus podcast. And as you can see in the screen, it's obvious that it's from the Republic of the Philippines, and I'm going to update you with some sort of announcement at this side of your screen, and I'll never going to share some sort of numbers as you can see, but for some reason some of you might be blind or having difficulties with vision, so I'll going to disclose the Philippine COVID-19 cases here as of 1600 Philippine Standard Time. 6,459 recorded cases have been disclosed by the Department of Health. Recoveries have been increasing into total of 613, and unfortunately, sad for some families and friends, that 428 got died. And of course, dear Paul would like to condole with those bereaved family and friends, and hopefully there would be more recoveries to come. So what the Oasio Imperata have said, may they be restored to help soon. But anyways, let's go to this topic, or should I say, if I'm going to air this type of blabbering through series, it shows that I'm going into those extremes already as a side effect for some sort of disability or permanent disability, which is the developmental disability. And like what I have said earlier, media experiences that I'm going to share it with you. And of course, this episode is very special for me since 20 since the high school years. I've been into consistent best in computer from first to fourth year, and how I wish that I could have this live podcast episode during this enhanced community quarantine that I have to use all of my means to be creative enough. And of course, I've learned so many things, especially for the photo editing and also the HTML or the web page, in which the HTML lessons have inspired me to create some sort of online portal way back 2011 or 2012, which is called At Home with Paul. And of course, there are some sort of blogging like contents and life stories that I have to share it with you guys. But in this modern based world, and as far as I know, things got changed rapidly, especially the HTML5 and also the Flash version of the online portal got into the transition stage already, and several changes to most of the broadcast, or should I say most of the web pages, have led me to proceed to the HTML5 version, still carrying the name At Home with Paul, until you know what? This is the continuation of the origin story, actually, of Dear Paul 24. And of course, you know what? Writing some sort of notes and even other stuff that could be of endearing to not only for someone but also for me as well. And actually, at the third, at the high school, way back the high school, let me admit this to you. You know what? I know this high school teacher coming from Bicol, and of course December of, anyways, let me open this file. Let me open this file first, but while the file is opening, let me share it to you, those endearments that I have received. And of course, you know what? Everything have changed when someone calls you this way. It would be like I feel so special about it, or it feels like so special to me, rather. And of course, my outlook have changed already. Communication with due respect will be observed as well. And yes, of course, my life have changed already. I've got focused, especially on the academics, and from good times to bad times, I've been grateful already, since there are most important or very important person in my life, especially my mom, that would be fight for the supposed grades that are needed to be, I guess, should be higher than the other student, but sounds unfair for some, but hopefully this would be a learning experience for most of the students like me, civil engineering student. And the photograph that I'll be about to open, psych. But anyways, before I open this photograph, but let me share this to you. Psychology professor, way back my third year experience. It's like very special for me if I guess it properly. It's because the professor would tend to call any student, oh my goodness me, there's some sort of technical difficulties due to unintended buffering. Hopefully this would be into green before I resume. Anyways, it's green already. So most of the professors would be like calling some or certain student with those endearing ones. As you may know, the most frequently, oh my goodness me, there's a technical difficulties once again. It's on red, orange once again. Let's pause for a while we're going to solve this some sort of technical issues until the streaming goes on green. It's more likely a congestion factor already on our local broadband. Still on orange. Anyways, while the congestion issue is not yet solved, but anyways, got restored into green. Screen already, and let me say this to you. It's 1957, and you know what? The most frequent term of endearment is like dear. Oh my goodness me. There's a thread once again. Let's pause for a short break because there's some sort of technical difficulties that we might experience, and we'll be back with you shortly. Please stand by for the rest of the episode. If you are interested from Dirtball, don't forget to visit the official online portal posted on the screen. That's https colon double forward slash bit.ly, that's Bravo India Tango dot Lima Yankee forward slash Dear Paul 24PH, that's Delta Echo Alpha Romeo Papa Alpha Uniform Lima 24 Papa Hotel. If you're in the Republic of the Philippines, there are the latest and reliable information for COVID-19 pandemic disaster. Visit covid19.gov.ph. That's covid19.gov.ph. Don't forget to check it out. The Department of Health and the World Health Organization for the latest updates. If you're close to Dasmania City, don't forget to follow the Feast SM Dasmanias on Facebook and YouTube. And tune in for live streaming or premiere episode of the talks every Saturday, 1700 hours, 5 p.m. Philippine Standard Time. And now, back into the podcast. Don't you worry for those who are going to listen to the podcast on Spotify, Anchor, and Apple Podcast and other major podcast platforms. I'm going to resume the podcast or premiere podcast episodes in the condensed format that is coming from the original live streaming. And of course, going back to the origin story that come from the episodes and unfortunately the camera got died, and we're going to show the station ID on the screen, and of course we're going to show most of the information that would find it inspiring for most of the people, or most especially to professors and even most of the good people that are going to share it with you. And so with the continuation of the podcast, maybe I'm going to start the recording as redundancy measures. Hopefully, there would be no further technical difficulties that may occur. Anyways, screen already. Green and go. Let's go. And of course, it's way back 2011 actually that one of my high school teacher, she's also Bicolana. I'll not say those names for privacy's sake, but hopefully if you're watching or tuning in right now, I'm very grateful that you become my teacher during those high school years. Hopefully, I'm going to share with you most of the good news. And see you soon. And of course, at the next part of the continuation actually of the origin story, media experiences related, of course, October 2014, it's now being migrated already to Dear Paul. And all the web page have been shut off as part of the full migration to HTML5, and up to this year it's still up and running, and I'm very grateful for the Wix team that they provide most of the HTML5 templates to begin with. No encoding of the HTML codes, but I have learned so many things, especially on the search engine optimization and even the uploads of most of the photography, but effective 2019 due to strict privacy laws here in the Philippines and elsewhere, especially for the European Union. There are so many changes already to the broadcast, especially for the, personal matters that has not to be disclosed, including those names. Hopefully, your deep understanding is highly appreciated. And of course, this taming is in continuity and no personal information should be disclosed without the, you know, consent from the other party. And you know what? "2016. This is the worst experience that I have encountered. Especially for those trying to intimidate most of the people, especially those cyber bullies lurking on the social media. Oh my goodness me. You know what? I'll admit this to you. I got so depressed at that time, wherein I have no other choice but to stop everything, especially this academics and even the web page or the online portal. But thanks be to God that I have recovered already, and by 2017 I entered ultimately the prayer meeting or the church called the Feast. And of course, I've been so grateful already, especially to dear Brother Boggs, that you have said this quote unquote, "Don't just sit there, serve." That's what I have entered ultimately, the media ministry. And as part of the media ministry experience, the behind the scenes has been happening every Saturday. Upgrades have been occurred, like this one, especially those familiar with the standard definition and the high definition widescreen formats. From the standard definition, which is 4x3, it has been upgraded already to this present 16:9 like this.